Good afternoon, good afternoon, good afternoon. I'd like to welcome everyone to Evadyne with Company, Talk Worth Listening to. I am Evadyne, and I appreciate you coming on. I appreciate us having this opportunity to share information. So Evadyne with, oh, yes, that's right, I'm Evadyne, and I am Evadyne. And so I love this Monday opportunity talk, to have talk, because on this show we talk together, we speak together, we share information. I might have an opening subject, and well, we all add to it to make it the talk. And then I may have a closing subject to make it an effective talk. So I had decided not too long ago that I wanted to open with a Black history, melanated history, history of our people, just sharing some information that would just enlighten us. Um, Not so much because they're taking history or Black history out of the schools, but because the more we know, the better we are. The more we know, the better we grow. So this is an interactive conversation. This is an interactive talk. I like sharing information, but the only way I can share it is if I receive it um, by different ways. In passing, in the grocery store, from my creator, because I pay very close attention, and from people that I know, people who I engage with. I speak a lot, but in my speaking, I am receiving information. And that information is usually very valuable, if not to me, to someone else. So I consider myself a receiver and a deliverer of information, a receiver and deliverer. I came across something on Facebook, if I can mention them. It's so hard to know what you can mention nowadays. But I came across something that was very interesting. It was a gentleman who came from a family that had hearing impairment. And so their normal way of communicating at home, even though some of them could hear and speak, was American Sign Language. And I found that to be very interesting because in both of my books, which are Siamese twins, I mentioned that effective communication, great communication, good communication is the best way for us to, of course, receive information and grow better, grow wiser, grow more whole, because we need to stay open. We need to stay open to receive information. I say the day we stop learning is the day we stop. Period. Right? But until that day, we should learn something new every day. Every day. Oddly, even if you're not leaving home, even if you're not leaving home, if you're engaging in listening to the radio or watching television or watching a movie, there's a phrase. I'm not sure how old you are, but there's a lot of phrases out there. But one of them I'm speaking about now is art imitating life. Art imitating life. That is so important because we're engaged in so many different areas of the heart, of the arts, of the heart. Well, yeah, of course, that too. But we're engaged in so many different areas of the arts that if we think it's just for entertainment purposes, there's a lot more for us to know. If we think that it's just so those people who are delivering the movies, the music, the television, even the paintings and the photography, if we feel that they're just doing that to make money, and maybe they feel that way too, know that it's bigger than us. It's bigger than us. So I'm going to go with history a little bit, and it's not just going to be Black history, melanated history. Let's just go with the history of the beginning of time. We could start there. My first grown folk talking podcast was on Spiritually You. Spiritually You. And you can find that on my YouTube, Evadyne Smith 3986, right? You can find that there. And it will be coming up on the Grown Folk Talking YouTube page as well, which is Grown Folk Talking. Express Yourself. Spiritually You, that is the ultimate history. That is the ultimate beginning. But what does that mean to us? Do we feel that the creation of time happened and now it's over? The Creator did the work, and now it's up to us. Is that how we feel? Or do we realize that our Creator is still at work, is still at work, and is still delivering information to us, delivering messages? Do we feel that what's said is said and what's done is done, and that we're done? Like once you're an adult, that's it, you're done. Whatever you did in your early years, you did. No need to do it again if you enjoyed it. Okay, there's some things we won't do again, obviously. Those are the lessons in life. But do we realize possibly that we are still being used to create history, as we know? We are still being used to be messengers for the Creator. Example, you may know some people who pray, who chant, who meditate. I'm going to believe all of those things are to give thanks and to get results. Not begging, but to give thanks and to get results from whoever they are communicating with. Well, if they're doing that and they're expecting a result, that result would have to come through us, through humans, or mankind, depending on what you're looking at, but humans, through humankind, through man. So if you're asking for help, if you're asking for direction, if you're asking for peace, oh, Peace, right? Peace. Or even your piece of the pie, because you're putting forth effort in a certain direction and you would like to get the results that you're putting forth those efforts in. If you're asking, praying, chanting, meditating, how do you feel you're going to get it? If not, through the visualization of the sign that this is your answer, that this is your answer. So think about that, because I'm going to ask. Think about that. If you are asking the Creator for help, for assistance, for guidance, again, for peace, EACE, or your piece of the pie that you're putting forth the work in, if you're asking and doing the work. So what's doing the work? Doing the work is putting forth the correct effort, putting out the correct messages, doing your part to receive the other part. If you're doing all of those things, how do you feel you're going to receive that information if not through man? If not through man. Not woman, man, mankind, humankind. Which for me goes back to one piece of art imitating life. What does that mean? It means if you hear something on the radio, if you hear something on television, if you see something, you can watch a movie that was filmed decades ago that can bring you the answer to what you were asking for. Did you know? Yeah. Whether you're seeing it or listening to it, or if somebody just happens to be sitting next to you in public and they say, because I'm really nosy, so I'm always listening. But if they happen to say something, not even speaking to you, but speaking through them is the answer that you were looking for. Is that possible? And so I'll ask, if it's not possible, if you don't believe that you will get your answers to your asking through mankind, because of course the Creator is going to send it. Like, I don't think, well, yes, you can. I was going to say, I don't think you can open up your email and all of a sudden you see an email straight from the beyond. You might be able to, because now you could be thinking it, open up your device, and there it is, and you haven't said a word. That is happening, technology and man. But if you don't feel that man is going to show you the answer, how do you think you will see it? And so I'll ask that question. So this is my history piece. My history piece today is not black history. It's not white history. It's not European history. It is history from the beginning. How do you think you're going to see, feel, hear, and receive your answer if not shown to you through a messenger looking like a human? I'm asking the question. Anyone?
Evadyne?
Well, hello, Miles.
How you doing? I came in late. I don't know what the topic is, so I can't speak on it. So, what we speaking on?
So I open my shows
I'm
now.
sorry for being late.
No, it's okay. Thank you for being here, and you sound much better. Thank you for being better. You're welcome. So I open now my shows with history, ideally black history, but today I decided to go to the ultimate history, to the beginning, to the creation of mankind, and to our Creator. I decided to go to the Creator. And so in all of my shattering, I'm saying that people pray, chant, meditate, and ask the Creator for help, assistance, and guidance. But they don't accept and or believe when it comes to them through a form of mankind's ability. So it can come from, art imitating life is the phrase that I've used so far. It can come to us through movies, through music, through television, through news, through somebody who you happen to be sitting next to, and if you're overhearing their conversation, you may get your answer. But I'm saying for those who do not believe that the answers come through man, or if you believe you can share that as well. So if you believe it comes through man, through observation, through paying attention, and that's how our Creator is sending us our answers, share that. And if you don't believe it, if you don't mind sharing that.
Well, I believe when we ask God for help and all that, if we pay attention, we'll recognize the signs. We'll recognize the message that He sent back to us. Some people assume that when you ask for a prayer or something like that, it's supposed to come, boom, right away. It don't work like that. So if you stay focused on your belief, I believe when the sign comes, when He sent a message, you will recognize it. Like you said, you could be sitting in a movie theater, 3 people ahead of you could be talking about something, and it'll pop up like, wow, that's what the answer I was looking for. That could be a sign from Him, sending it through someone else. Or like you said, when you watch television, something comes on there unusual, there's something like, oh, sweat, I was just thinking about that. Is that a sign? But see, He always sends a sign, but we just got to recognize it when it comes. That's the way I look at it.
I appreciate your view. I know, I appreciate your view. That's how I see it as well. That's why I appreciate your view. Anyone else? Thank you, Miles.
You're welcome.
Okay, I'll say again, silence is pretty silver. Let's speak about golden water. This is just a thing that I do. Like, I just kind of get it. It comes to my head. So are you familiar with gold water? So we hear about colloidal silver and the silver water a lot. Gold water is becoming more popular, period, not than anything else, just more popular because the value of it. And I don't know, again, how old you are, if you're while listening to this, or if you're reviewing it again on YouTube, but decades ago, many people used to get gold fronts. They used to have their teeth either replaced with 18-karat gold or capped with 18-karat gold. I saw this woman the other day. She had such a beautiful set of dentures. They were like full-mouth dentures. I don't think I've ever seen anyone with such a beautiful dentured mouth. And I'll say it like that because sometimes you'll get dentures, and I know we're not changing the subject. This is still messages going out probably to me since I have a few dental appointments set up. But I've never seen anyone with dentures that beautified them. They were perfect. And she had an 18-karat gold tooth in there as well. Gold is very valuable to the body. So there is gold water out there. You can use your device and check it out. So that wasn't a commercial because, as you see, I did not direct you to anything in particular for which I will get paid for. But it's okay because it's really all about sharing information and getting messages that could be valuable to people, right? That could be valuable. So we're talking about the history of the beginning of mankind, I'm going to say, mankind, and how we acknowledge the Creator and the work that the Creator is doing. So here's the other piece to that. Today, in modern times, we do work. We do work. And we don't know why we're doing that work all the time, but we just know we need to do it, get that work done. So I'm going to speak about my books right now. I have 2 books. I have 3 more coming. They're going to be fun. But I have 2 books right now. Suicide is a serious killer. Let's end it today. A statement and a call to action. Let's end it today. And I don't know if there's anyone listening now or if you're listening again on a recorded segment of this, but I don't know anybody who would not want to do what they need and could do to end what I call circumstantial suicide. I don't know anybody who wouldn't want to end it. Now, some people who are believers in a certain kind of way, they believe it's a fight between the good and the evil, God and Satan. So they don't want to get into the fight, right? But if you don't always want to get into a fight, it don't mean you won't get hit with a rock coming from that fight, especially if you don't know whose side you're on in the fight. And I'm not talking about Satan and God. I'm talking about someone who may be or may not be struggling with something mind or emotional concerned. But you never know. Just like, Miles and I just said, you could be sitting next to someone and hear something that tells you, wow, I was just thinking about that. That's the answer to the question I had, right? Suicide is self-inflicted death. That's all it means. Neither one of those words were fire. Neither one of those words were pain. Neither one of those words made you bite your tongue. Self-inflicted death. By any means. Right? That's the definition of suicide. That didn't hurt, did it? No. But because of how people take it, that word suicide is a hot potato for some people. A hot potato. Like nobody wants to touch it. So to that, I said, now this is how it works, right? This is an example of ask and ye shall receive. For 4 days in November, toward the end of November, I was driving and I said to myself, I need a softer title for this book. And I'm speaking to my co-author, which is my creator. That's my co-author, co-driver, co-everything in my life. I know. We have a really great relationship, me and my creator. So I'm driving, and literally for 4 days, I kept saying, I need a softer title. Because those who accepted, purchased, read, and reviewed the book, they loved it under the original title. They loved it. Asked me if I was a psychologist. And my response to them was not by definition. Nope, my response to them was by definition, not by license. Correction. By definition, not by license. So you have to do the work before they give you, that stamp of approval. Not that I'm looking for a stamp of approval for mankind, because I tell them, my co-author holds an associate's, a bachelor's, a master's, a doctorate, a PhD, and a DDIV. And again, that's my creator. I take credit for writing these books. I do not take credit for anything else other than being open, awake, and aware to receive the messages that people need to hear. So that's my disclaimer. Because it was such a hot subject and I was asking for a softer title, every time for 4 days, no lie, every time I would say I need a softer title, I would hear in my head, it's right in front of your face. Then I would say in my head, what's right in front of my face? For 4 days. until I was speaking to someone who was sitting behind me in my car, and I said to her, mind is to mental as teeth are to dental, and we all have a mind. And as I'm speaking and driving, I looked in my mirror. She was like, oh my God, that makes so much sense. You're right. Like, oh my God. So all of her oh my gods led me to say, duh, D-U-H, duh. What was right in front of my face was her expression that I got it. It makes sense. That's what was right in front of my face. People's expressions whenever I would make that statement. So, voila. The title of the second book, Mind is to Mental, as Teeth are to Dental, and we all have a mind. That's how we ask and receive, by paying attention. As Miles said, it's not always instant. God only knows it's not always instant. That took 4 days of me talking to myself. But it's there. Ironically, though that was the end of November, in October, I recorded a video titled, Mind is to Mental as Teeth are to Dental, and we all have a mind. Because I had been saying it, I think, since September. I had been saying that, in the conversation, in the course of, because it just made simple sense. Whenever I came up with it, it made simple sense that people could get it. They could get it. And guess what? It is true. It is your state of mind that gets you transferred, if needed, to the mental department. Mind is to mental. And it is the condition of your teeth that will get you to the dental department, as teeth are to dental. But most importantly, bringing it back around, we all have a mind. It's that simple. And your mind could be in the greatest state, great, and a good state, good. There could be some life challenges, so it might not be in the good state for a minute. Okay, you know. And it may be in a more deeper state of needing assistance. So then you get transferred to the mental department to examine what's going on with your mind. Does that make sense? Okay, I hope so. So, because we all have a mind, we need to understand how it works. And I'll just say this. Your head to your toe is one great machine created by our Creator. Back to history. We were designed perfectly. Not the Adam and Eve story. We were designed perfectly so that everything works in sync. Simplifying it, I don't think they build cars and then put feet under the cars so that you could move on like the Flintstones. No, they build cars and then they put tires to move the car right along. So if man could do that, and airplanes that stay in the sky, and ships that float on the sea, and all of, if man can do that, of course we know with the help of their co-inventor, back to history again, then why wouldn't man be greater than the machines they create? Why wouldn't they? Of course they would. Not only that, all of the other little things I just described, the car, the boat, the airplane, your telephone, your TV, your refrigerator, they all come with operational owner manuals, right? Where is the owner's manual for the greatest machine ever created? Where? Oh, okay. So I will say I do recall the Encyclopedia Britannica having one. I love this stuff. That's probably when I got into health and wellness. Their encyclopedia on, I don't know if the subject was the human body, could have been, but it had those beautiful clear pages that when you looked at one page it showed everything, and then you turned the page and it showed something else. But it wasn't translucent, it was clear, but with colorful diagrams of the human body on different levels. The human body here, this organ here, and that was then, and I'm going to say back in the 70s, right? And they're probably still in existence. But the most newest for the general public owner's manual that I am familiar with is Dr. Oz You, Owner's Manual for the Human Body. That's the title, You. It's the owner's manual for the human body. He and one of his colleagues published this book, late 90s, early 2000s. It is an owner's manual for the greatest machine ever created. So most people know Dr. Oz for two reasons. One, from Oprah. Two, for the medical industry knocking him down because of his TV show, because of the information that he was delivering, that he is delivering, because he knows nutrition and he knows medicine. But to keep you from medicine, he encourages nutrition. And that makes a lot of sense because when we go back in history to the beginning, when we were created, nutrition was the base to sustain our health, right or wrong.
Right.
Right. That going back to basics, we make life very complicated. Complicated. It's very simple, but we make it complicated. Now, we might have some direction because you have some people who their goal is to be experimentative and to be exploratory and to redesign our thinking and redesign our bodies through our hormones and chromosomes and other things, right? So because of that, we have to be patient with those who don't understand the basics, who don't understand that the buildings where the experimentation is developed is not necessarily to our benefit. You know I'm watching my language, right? Of course. Not necessarily to our benefit.
How polite of you.
Sometimes what comes out of those buildings are needed for immediate acute issues. But once those acute issues are under control, which should be right in that same institution, then it really should go back to, when possible, and most of the times it's possible, it should go back to the basics. So let me give you an example. This is a personal story, and if you don't want to hear personal stories, skip to the middle of this video if you're watching, or close your ears if you're currently listening. 2 years ago, I went into the hospital. My sugar was 1100, off the charts. They gave me insulin and metformin. Now, you don't know me, but here I am. I'm in ICU. ISEEYOU. That's how I break it down. ICU is so they can watch you. It is the intensive care unit. I guess you could go either way. But it's really so they could see you. They can monitor you. They can watch you. But I'm in ICU, hooked up, getting insulin, getting medication, the metformin. And this is right toward the end of that 2-year run we had, right? So the nurse comes in, and the nurse says, it's a gentleman, he says, I'm here to give you your medicine, Miss Smith. And I said, what are you giving me? And it was either the insulin or the metformin. I think it was the metformin and heparin. So I looked at him and I said, heparin for who? So he says, well, when people when people are laying down in the hospital, to avoid them getting blood clots, we give them heparin. Now, heparin is a blood thinner. They usually give you a shot in your stomach, right? And it keeps you from clotting. So I said, I'm going to take the metformin, but you can keep the heparin. See, because my observation, my listening, my understanding, and me and my creator keeping it all in my head, because I don't drink and I don't smoke and I can drink. I'm not an alcoholic in recovery, but I don't drink. Maybe once every 2 or 3 years to be safe, right? Okay. I mean, to be honest, not safe. I'm safe anyway. To be honest, once every 2 or 3 years. But I keep a clear head, and I've had one since they slapped me March 19th, 1962. Clear-headed, very in tune, very awake, very observant, very nosy. Observance translates to nosiness and, other people's language, but very nosy. But I know and I remember that people were dying from heparin in the hospital. It was causing them to hemorrhage because it's a blood thinner. It's to keep you from clotting, but it thins your blood. I told him, no, you can keep that. I don't need that one. Thank you very much. Now, when I was discharged with 2 prescriptions, metformin and insulin, 2 years ago. Well, I just threw away the insulin from 2 years ago. It had expired. I kept it around just in case. I stopped the insulin within the first week of being out of the hospital, and I stopped the metformin the second week. I love the idea of the metformin because it caused weight loss, and I could use all of that help. But however, the insulin I stopped because from my history in healthcare, which has been since I was a child, I've been in healthcare, health and wellness, since I was a child. Nobody told me that my pancreas wasn't working. So if you start supplementing what your body should do, your body will stop doing it. It'll be like, hey, hold on. I'm on vacation. I don't have to work no more. Let me back on out of here, right? That's what your body's organs will say, because your body, every organ has a memory. Again, greatest machine ever created. You could literally be in a hospital for 3 days for something and have to go to rehab to learn how to walk. Because of whatever it is your body went through, that memory needs to be brought back. It's a weird, and you didn't go in for anything that may have caused you not to be able to walk. But just that 3 days down, the whole system can kind of shut down into remembering what it's supposed to do, because everything's connected. And just in case you didn't know this, every type, like department, of professional in that institution is focused on their business. They're focused on their business. Like when they came in with the heparin, you have not tested my blood. You don't know if I have a clotting issue. You don't know if I have a thinning issue. You don't know that much about me to give me a blood thinner. Heck no. Thank you very much and have a great day. But when I went I told my doctor, my family doctor or general practitioner, that I stopped taking the insulin, and I wanted to see an endocrinologist. I wanted to see somebody who was going to look at my organs and tell me, because nobody told me my pancreas wasn't working. When I walked in that hospital with 1100 sugar, I knew what I had consumed in the last 2 hours, but I definitely knew what I had consumed within that week, because I was working on a project and I'm a drinker, not alcohol. I'm a drinker. I love drinking. And I just kept making juice, not a real juice, but juice, using sugar. I went through 5 pounds of sugar in 3 days, all by myself, because I just kept making it and kept working and working and drinking and drinking and working and working and drinking. So I knew why those numbers were the way they were. There's no way anyone would have been walking around and living with those numbers. I knew that. So address this acute condition, but my creator said, hey. Number one, no heparin. Number two, back up off the insulin. And number three, back up off the metformin. And I asked myself, why did you stop the metformin? You know, me talking to me again. Claim it what you want. And I realized I didn't know, other than I don't want to be managed by anything or anybody, for the record. I don't want to be managed. But when I stopped the metformin and I was asking, like, why did you really stop it? When I looked in research, they had just had a recall of the time-release metformin because they put too much of a chemical in it that they use in rocket fuel. Okay, right? I said, wait, hold it. What? Now, I wasn't on the time release, but this was all the creator going, bing, ding, ding, and me following. Bing, stop taking it. Ding, go look at it. Ding dong. Not that they accidentally put the ingredient in. They just put in too much of the ingredient that they use in rocket fuel. Now, we know there could always be a cross between different things that are used in different things, you know. Like I think I mentioned the other day that I thought I was doing great laundry because I'm a permanent press queen. I don't iron, but it's formaldehyde that they use in fabric so that when it's in the dryer, the wrinkles are bounced out. Formaldehyde is used in embalming fluid. Embalming fluid is used for dead people. You know, they pull the blood out and put the embalming fluid in to give you that flesh tone thing again, you know, bring you pumped up again so you look beautiful for the family and friends. But they do use it in other things as well, like makeup. Okay, so I'm just saying, I get the ding, ding, ding. I listen to the dings, right? I listen to the dings. So our history is being created and being uniquely, divinely, and intelligently created to stay in tune and on board with the Creator. Because as long as you're on board with the Creator, you will always be in tune, in sync, and on point with what you should be doing, why you should be doing it, how you should be directing it, what you should not be doing, whether you listen or not, all from the history of the making of us. Of us. We don't fly like the eagles. We don't fly like the birds. We don't fish and live, unless you're a mermaid or a merman, in water, right? We are made, as technically electrical beings with flesh and features. I remembered that without even writing it down, right? We're electrical beings with flesh and features, uniquely. And sometimes simultaneously, if you happen to be a twin or a triplet that's identical in features, but internally there's still some changes, from some differences. But the outward covering is the same. Okay, so history, the beginning, and now today. I share this information because sometimes we get lost in our purpose. We get lost in what we should be doing while we're doing something else. We get lost in other people telling us what we should be doing and shouldn't be doing, and how we should walk and should talk, and how we should wear our hair, if we wear hair at all, we get lost in what other people have designed for us. And some of these people could be our parents because they too were lost into being what other people wanted them to be. I'm not saying parents are bad. We all may be parents who are listening. We all may become parents, those of you who are listening. I'm not saying they're bad. They're just doing what they were taught in most cases to do. When it comes to children, I feel that as a parent, our responsibility is to observe them, to guide them, to feed them, to direct them, but not to control them. Not to control them. Because I should whisper this, but I won't. We can barely control ourselves. Right or wrong, we can barely control ourselves. So to take on that role of controlling someone else, well, the stiff branch may break when that time comes. Not bend, but break. If you're controlling too much from one end. And the origin, the original, the history of that person, what that person is supposed to be, supposed to do, and supposed to become is really within them, as it is in us. So we just sometimes need to take the back seat, not in the electric car and let it drive on its own, don't get me wrong. But we sometimes need to take the back seat to observe our young people, from babies, from toddlers. They gravitate and show you their desires. They gravitate and show you through their actions what they enjoy. Observe them and guide them and support them and place them where they are good at, and let that grow and develop. Make sure they're eating. Make sure they're getting their education. Make sure of the things that you know while underage you are responsible to provide to them as a parent. It's so interesting. I saw this thing, and I think it's a little old because I believe I saw it some years ago, where this lady who appears to be about 28 years old is suing her parents. Have anyone seen that yet? And do you know what she's suing her parents for? Take some guesses, if you don't mind.
A divorce?
Nope. Anyone else? Any idea? She's suing her parents for being born. She says she did not ask to come here.
Which is true.
She did not ask to come here. She said she had no intention on working. She did not decide, she did not agree that she would have to go to school. She sued her parents for forcing her into life.
I wonder where she got that from.
Well, didn't think about it, but think about it, right? So let's set aside our strong beliefs for a minute. I used to say that when a baby miscarried, when a woman miscarried and lost her child, that the chemistry of that fetus wasn't quite right. Wasn't quite right. I could be wrong, and we'll never know, but that's what I always thought about a miscarriage. Could it be that the decision to not give birth is not your decision at all, man or woman? Could it be, and this is weird because I never thought about it until this conversation, but again, that's why I like conversing with others and myself, right? Could it be that it is the creator that, I mean, because in my story today is speaking about our creator giving us information, our creators, still being actively participating in what's going on in our lives. Could it be that that decision is a decision that was put into the mom or the dad? The man says, hey, babe, I'm not ready for a baby. The woman says, hey, babe, I'm not ready for a baby. Or one of them say it and they just have to come to a decision. But could it be that it's the creator who's actually sharing that information and giving them that idea that this is not right now?
Question.
Continue.
But I think why would he put something like that in play when it's going to hurt both of them when they lose the baby?
Well,
now the miscarriage is something, but an abortion is two different things because she chose to. However, when you have a miscarriage, that hurts too. But why would you put that kind of hurt unless you put, like they said, he won't put too much on you. But I don't know. Maybe to make them even closer, or they probably separate from that. I don't know. But why would something like that be done, knowing that it's going to be a painful thing?
So I don't know, but I'm just going to share what I'm receiving.
All right. Maybe we should ask somebody who went through that, right?
No, I'm going to share with you what I'm receiving as a response.
Okay.
On our level here on Earth,
mm-hmm.
we see things differently.
Right.
Different depending on where we are, different depending on what we believe in. But I would say, though there is pain in a miscarriage, there would be more pain in your child being murdered. Would you agree? Would you agree?
I'm sorry, my Alexa went off. I didn't hear the end of that. Can you repeat that?
Though there would be pain in a miscarriage, emotional, hopefully not too much physical, but definitely emotional pain, and a miscarriage, do you agree that there would be more pain if your child was murdered?
Yes.
If your child was kidnapped?
Yes, because that was deliberate.
Well, because you had an opportunity to experience that child and that child's life, right?
Right.
When you're carrying the baby, it is your anticipation of that experience of being a parent, mother, father, because men are hurt just the same when they are looking forward to their first, second, or third child. As Brother Abdul explained, that as soon as a man knows he's about to be a father, his hormones change, his dopamine changes, his heart, he becomes more compassionate, more understanding, more sensitive. So both parents experience loss. And so with a miscarriage, that is they call it a spontaneous abortion, right? Your body did it.
Right.
There's hurt, there's pain, there's disappointment because of your plan, but your plan, what do they say? You make a plan, God makes a plan and laughs, or, some phrase like that. But your plan or that situation may not have been the right one at the right time or with the right person. Could have been any
Okay.
other thing. When it comes to a decision to make an abortion, again, that decision comes from a thought. And I'm saying, suppose that thought isn't necessarily, I mean, you're making it and saying it, but maybe it was an imposed or a superimposed thought by the creator saying, again, not now, not right now, not now. Because when a person makes a decision, when the couple or a person makes a decision to not give birth to the fetus that they're carrying, that decision is not always an easy decision. You know, they kind of think it out, think it through, but they make a decision. So that in itself is powerful, that they've made a decision,
They
right?
did it together.
Whether they did it together or he did it and she had to accept it, or she did it and he didn't know or had to accept it, it was an act of thoughtfulness. A decision is an act of thoughtfulness. That's a
Gotcha.
decision. So I have this, it came from business. I love network marketing because it just educates you right out of college. You just don't go to college, just get your education right there, right? I realized and I said, are you a decision maker or a circumstance taker? So there are people who don't make decisions, but
Right.
they just fall into a circumstance and apply it or do it or live with it or follow it or whatever it is. Are you a decision maker or a circumstance taker? And if you're a circumstance taker, in my opinion, you really can't take credit for what was done, for the end result, because as a decision maker, you would have deliberately thought it through, planned it through, and put those dynamics in place.
That'll be on you, though, right?
Say it again.
The decision maker is on you.
Decision makers on you. You put thought into it. You engage with it, and even if it doesn't turn out exactly like you wanted it to be, you are actively involved in the process. But
Right.
a circumstance taker, they just walk into it like, hey, I done did it. Look what happened. I got it. Whoop, whoop. And trying to take all the credit, but they did nothing in the planning process. Nothing other
Gotcha.
than being present. But it does not mean also, hey, we're all different. We're all created, as I mentioned, history is. We're all created as individuals. I believe we're all given our own specific and special gifts for being in this world, right? That's what I believe. And it's in this world, not just in this country, as we know, but in this world. So, what if? What if that ending the pregnancy, whether it's spontaneous or by decision, that it was just that thing to do? It was just that thing to do. Not right now. Not right now. Maybe later, or maybe not you. Not everybody's meant to be a parent. Not just giving birth, but the nurturing of that child. And yes, there's adoption and foster and all of that. But when you have an opportunity to make that decision before that birth, then that's when people kind of sort of make their decision. I also say, and here's a phrase again, when someone passes, some people say, they announce it with, my cousin got their wings today, or, my mom, or their wings. Listen to that. Listen to that. The implication is not so much a bird, but I'm believing an angel is what I'm believing they're implying with the wings.
Right.
Go ahead.
I'm saying right. I'm agreeing with you.
So what I thought, a couple of weeks ago, maybe months. Time is flying. I'm getting older, thankfully. But I thought when I heard that one day, well, how about that? How about when a person passes, because I don't know about anyone who's listening and share it with us. I don't know where I came from. I don't know my life before this life. I know I was born on a certain day, and here I is. No, really, here I am. Let me correct that. Somebody might take that. Well, somebody might take that little snippet and say, "That's an ignorant woman. She don't even know how to talk." But so I'll correct that. I not know my before this life, but suppose they literally gain wings, wings broader than an eagle, with all the information that they gathered while they were here. And suppose that person is now a being with wings that's protecting on a greater level, observing on a greater level, directing on a greater level. You and your family, your little ones, your older ones, maybe even preparing a place for someone who's going soon, because we all are going and we never know what time. Suppose that person is literally graduating to that next level. And let's say this, honorably graduating to that next level. Because some people, I wouldn't want them to have broader wings based on what they were doing with no wings, personally. But if they're a good person, I'm just saying, and they gain their wings, and let's say everybody gains their wings and they start fresh. They start fresh with the goodness of them. Okay, that was nice of me. With the goodness of them, and then now covering. People speak about that, right? May the Lord cover this house. May the Lord do this, and may the Lord that word covering, right?
Right.
Suppose they elevate to the next level to do more of the work that they have to do. Would you feel as sad knowing that they're on a larger, bigger, greater mission? Would you feel as sad? I don't know.
Nah, look, I believe in angels, but the wing thing, I'm not with that. But
Symbolic.
Yeah, that's a symbolic thing. Yeah, angels' wings. Yeah, I get that. But I believe if they on the next level, they earned it. I'd be happy for them. I'd rather see them going up the ladder than down in the basement where it's hot as hell.
How about this is the basement, Miles?
Say that again?
How about this is the basement? This is that thing.
Okay.
Right?
Look, I've been there, done that. Because I'm right here in my house where I'm at now. I had passed away because I had messed around and had too much, plastic on my window, and I was losing oxygen, and then I literally died, he said. That's what the lady told me. Now, from what I experienced, there is a bright light out there. I've seen it for myself. And I didn't see no wings or anything, but I just kept walking towards it. But after a while, I could hear somebody calling me. And then when I turned around, I seen me sitting on in a chair. The guy giving me CPR, and the lady put some kind of injection in me, and the cop and my sister standing in the room crying. And I just turned around and kept walking towards this light. But I kept hearing somebody call me. The next thing I know, I opened my eyes. It was the lady on the floor, the paramedic lady. And she told me that I had passed away. It took me a while to realize that, but it happened. And to be honest with you, it's a great feeling. It wasn't painful. It wasn't like weird or anything. It just felt great.
It was the process. Well, welcome back. Thank you very much for that story. I would clap if I had.
Yeah, but I told the minister that. He looked at me like I was crazy.
Of course. Well,
I knew what happened, and I thank God every day for sending me back home. I put it like that. Because like you said, he wasn't ready for me.
and so
Maybe that's came back.
correct. And so welcome back, and really, honestly, and thank you for sharing that story. I heard this woman say she almost died by drowning. She said, but it was the most peaceful, just peaceful. And so it's a part of this life, the ending of it. I guess from history, it was the plan. You know, we were here for a time to do the work that we're supposed to do, and then we move on. Otherwise, there would be some serious overpopulation,
True.
serious overpopulation, if it wasn't a plan of a lifespan, of a lifespan.
Yeah,
There
because we
was
ain't gonna live.
go ahead.
We all ain't gonna live forever. I look at it as like we all put on a stage. We play a part in life. What part you gonna play? And then when it's over with, like when the play is over, you over. That's the way I look at it. Because you're right. You're right. Because you're mad that we all live forever.
Just a bit much. Like
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
and when we think about it like that, it's all of what you do between the then and now, and the now and then, and the in between. That's all the stuff that matters. That
True.
all matters. And being the best you can be. Again, not being so controlled by others and you doing what they want you to do. And when you're a child, you don't know it. Well, no, that's not true. I was going to say, when you're a child, you don't know any better, but that wouldn't be a true statement. Children do know better, but the adults in their lives sometimes just will not listen to them because they're under an impression that they're a child and they know nothing, which means they know nothing as adults. Funny, I had that in my book as well. Children and seniors have always been my passion, even before I was close to a senior. Children and seniors. One, because they know what they know, but people don't want to respect what they know. They feel children are too young to know, and that seniors are too old to know. And to that I say, little do you know. Little do
It
you
seems like sometimes we forget we was children.
Little do you know. And that goes back to that paying attention. I remember listening to this young lady, and she told me, she said when she was a child, they used to always visit the Carolinas, and she always wanted to stay. She didn't want to come back to New York. Loved her parents and all of that, wonderful and good, but she always wanted to stay because her spirit resonated more with that type of living. Now here she was a child, and of course her parents didn't listen. And through her years, she served time in federal prison. She did so much living in New York against her spirit, against her spirit. She
So
fell
she felt
into
comfortable living in California, you said?
Carolina.
Carolina. She felt more comfortable being there than New York.
Absolutely. And by
Oh,
living in New York, and I can't say because of New York, but her life in New York, yes, she served federal time. She was just a hooligan. She was truly a hooligan. And she's about as big as a minute, so I guess that's the least you would expect. So that would made you easy prey on whatever she did. I don't know what her years were for, but she did federal time. But I want to share something with you. Eben Alexander, E-B as in boy, E-N, Alexander the third. It says he's an American neurosurgeon and author of a book titled Proof of Heaven. As a neurosurgeon, I'm sorry?
No, I was just repeating the name of it, Proof of Heaven, you said.
Proof of Heaven. So as a neurosurgeon in 2008, he was put in a medically induced coma, treated for what they said, because they didn't really know, for meningitis. He was in that coma, and during that time, he traveled. Spiritually, he traveled. It turned out that he was traveling with an older sister who died when he was a baby. When he was a baby, she was his guide in this travel. And while he was traveling,
an angel.
I'm sorry?
It's like a guardian angel.
Well, she was his guide. During that time that he was in a coma, he was considered brain dead. He had less than the function that normally he would tell a family, with this level of brain function, there's no way this person is going to make it out, right?
Yeah, pull the plug.
But once he did come out of it and told the story of how he heard them talking and what they were saying, and even in other rooms of the hospital, in his travels, when he was better and practicing again, that experience allowed him to not pull the plug or recommend it as quickly as he had previously, and also realizing that people can hear you in a coma. They can hear you and even see you, that there was more activity going on, and literally he had I think 13% brain function. It was deep. They could not figure out what was wrong with him. But I'm going to say it takes us to our greatest history again. That is bigger than us. That is like one of the phrases I use all the time. It's bigger than us. And you have to believe that. You have to believe that. You don't know how big it is. You don't know all the work that's going to be done for you, with you, by you. You don't know. We focus on man. So minimal, except for what they can bring us. Pay attention to them, because again, if you're asking, your answers can come through man. But this, all of the how do I say this? All of the messages in the news to frighten people and to make people shudder in and make people move from one part of the world to another, all of that, minimal compared to the big picture. It's bigger than us. It's bigger than us. So, ding, I'll take a break and announce that we are on Grown Folk Talking, Express Yourself, Progressive Podcast. We are 7 days a week, 7 a.m. It's a prayer call. You can call in with your request or just getting that that you need. We have a complete show lineup. You can call 520-525-8633. Listen to the show lineup. A variety of shows, and again, not variety shows unless it's open mic, but a variety of shows, something for everyone. We recommend that children, young people, listen to our shows because it's all about education. All about education. And the more we know, the more we grow. So I'm asking you to follow up with me. I'm Evadyne with Company, Talk Worth Listening to tell me what you want to listen to. I just, I like the talk thing, really. And so that's what I bring to my show. Unless you need to mute yourself, you don't have to. And you can come on to Huddle.team. Well, the Huddle app. If you download the Huddle app, the meeting ID is grown folk, all lowercase. I think works best. Grown folk, no S. Um, just come on. We also have a YouTube. Grown folk have a YouTube. Grown folk talking, express yourself, where a lot of the shows that are recorded are going to come up live. That are live will come up recorded, and you can listen and re-listen. Invite your friends, invite your family, invite the whole wide world who can understand English. I'm just saying, because we do speak English, and our show times are all Eastern Standard Time. We are based in the East Coast of the United States of America, well, we're on the land of the United States of America. We're sharing the land. And you can listen to, again, the whole show lineup following me at 7 p.m. today, which is the last Monday of the month. We have the King's Round Table, which is a men's-only support group hosted by Leon. The other Mondays following me at 7 p.m., except the last Monday of the month, we have Slot Time, hosted by Star. We have a host of shows again Monday through Sunday. We have maybe a couple of hosts on now, and if they'd like to announce their shows and any other announcement information, they may do so. I know, it's hard to know when I'm taking a deep breath, right? So I was taking a deep breath. And if anyone is speaking, you might be muted or something, but we have, again, a variety of shows Monday through Friday.
Good afternoon, Evadyne.
Good afternoon. How are you, Mr. Williams?
Okay, I'm very well, thank you.
Mr. William, how you doing?
Good to hear you, brother. How are you?
Good? I'm good.
You sound good all the time.
Thanks.
Very upbeat. I was telling Deborah about that this morning. Always upbeat. Powerful. Very inspirational, I have to say that. As you know, I have a show on Fridays combating systemic racism through education. And this Friday I'm having a brother named Mansa Musa, and it's going to be a theme on the African continent and the brewing civil war in Niger, and so on and so forth. But Mansa Musa will be on. He's a cinematographer. He does film. He does a lot of things to do with imagery and so on and so forth. And he's a very accomplished person in terms of filming ballet and Alvin Ailey group and so on. That's this coming Friday at 8 p.m. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Mr. Williams' commitment.
What can I do for you?
Mr. Sanford Williams' commitment.
Oh, I'm sorry. My last name William too, so.
I see.
Same masters in kind. We are the same plantation, maybe different.
Don't say that to her. She'll look it up. Probably have a whole novel about the both of us.
Well, no, actually, these masters, there was a bunch of them, and they gave their names out to us. There must have been a whole lot of Williamses on Williams plantations all over the country. So we don't know which one we came from. But anyway, we got those names from them. We didn't have those names when we got here.
You hear that, Miss Evadyne?
I did. There's a bit of history for us. And so I was going to mention that Mr. Sanford Williams, his commitment in life, one of his major commitments in life, is to set forth a platform of educating on the history of our people. Our people, meaning melanated black people, in the Americas, but even over on the continent. So he brings on a wealth of information from his history as well as his guests on his show on Fridays at 8 p.m. on the same Grown Folk Talk and Express Yourself podcast network. The other Mr. Williams, which is Miles Williams, he is a regular listener on our podcast network. He's a podcast network listener. Here on Grown Folk Talking, he's been very informational and very engaged. And I'm now going to ask him, why do you listen to Grown Folk Talking podcasts?
Well, because I learn a lot from all of them. Besides, some always say I talk too much, but hey, that's how you get to learn things. You got to ask questions. I don't want to assume anything. So when somebody says something, I don't agree with it. I like them for to clarify it. Even when I have a debate, I'm down with that. But you learn a lot from listening. And you never know. Something you might hear might be something that you've been into or trying to get into. Or even like if you hear something, like some of the stuff you be saying, I be looking up that I didn't do before. But now, when I listen to you, I do check out some of the stuff you be talking about. I'm on Google pages, YouTube, even Mr. William there. When he talk about stuff, I check his stuff out, too, to hear what they talking about. Because, see, some of the stuff he talk about, an organization called POP deal with people from all over the world, too. So, and what he's saying, I'm up on that, too. And it's very informative. I like to know what's going on.
Brother Miles, I wonder if you mentioned something about the March on Washington and how we had one of our members of the podcast group had 2 grandchildren, and one other child that went to the march. And did you mark on that on this program?
Oh yeah, Grown Folks Talk, they did that too. They was giving out free rides to people to go to the March on Washington. Pop organization was doing the same thing. Mr. William there, he donated to help some kids to get on the bus to go check it out. And if you all seen that the March on, because this is the 60th year of the March on Washington in '63, the 60 years this month. So if you go back on, you can catch it on YouTube too. You'll see a lot of youth was out there. It was very impressive. A lot of young kids, students, college students, guys showed up. The Bora grandkids was out there carrying signs. A lot of people from POP, from the colleges was out there. And some people that Grown Folks Talking, who sent out there was out there too. It was very inspirational. It made you feel like, thank God people out there, young people are starting to see what's going on in the world. But they are the next generation.
That was very great. I was thinking inside, and now I'll share on the outside, having those young people write a report. If no one is doing that, that would be awesome for them to report on their experience, what they knew before they went, what they learned while they were there, even their engagement in
I think Ms. Evadyne, I think their grandmother may have them come speak on the our podcast, one of our podcasts. I'm not sure.
Oh, he's about Deborah.
Oh,
I'll be very interested in hearing what they discussed on the way home on the bus.
Yeah, that would be
all
would
the talk,
great.
Conversation on the way coming back.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea. So they're going to come on probably on Deborah's show, maybe on Sunday or maybe on Thursday night, because Mr. Williams, your support was under the Organization of Unity and Empowerment. And so that's a show that we have on Thursday nights, I believe at 8 o'clock or 8:30 here on Grown Folk.
That's on Friday, right?
No, it's on Thursday.
Friday night? No, Thursday night. Thursday night, yes. Deborah, Adrian is Friday night.
Okay.
Can we talk? And then Mr. Sanford is after her at 8 p.m. So I believe it's probably going to be Thursday night on Time to Wake Up, The Real American, as that is the the base of the Organization of Unity and Empowerment. So as I'm speaking of them, let me speak this out there. The organization, website, Organization of Unity and Empowerment.org. You can go to that website and support that organization as it is building to be a very effective organization based out of Newark, New Jersey. There are a couple of promotional offers on their site as well as information about their organization. But we're running a promotion on my two books. I've placed them on there. A promotion on the ebooks and on the paperbacks. The promotion on the ebooks, you can get two, the first book and the second book, for $5, and they'll be downloaded directly to you. You can share them with a friend, give them as a gift, 7 years and above. Really should read this book, because little do we know, our young people will eventually become our old people. And
Yeah,
as we're saying, one second, Miles, as we're saying, the most important thing we could do is impart knowledge. Impart knowledge. And again, for me, health and wellness has been since I was probably about 8 years old. Now that I mentioned the Encyclopedia Britannica, probably younger than that, because I had a hold of that, and I was fascinated with the diagrams of the human body as I turned the pages. But I
remember that book too.
I do. I started engaging. Yeah. But what were you going to say, Miles?
I was saying you're right, because being that us three right now, we passed our 60s. We ain't getting no younger. So these young kids coming up, I'm very interested in what's coming up. Because, see, this Thursday, every Thursday at 7, I'll be on POP organization. They're called People of Progress, and they discuss stuff like this. And they also send some people to Washington, because they went too, and they had students to go too. I'm waiting to see if they're going to have any of those students come on there and speak about their experience, how it was going and how it was coming back. And I'd be very impressed if somebody on the bus, recorded some of this stuff.
That the same thing with the Million Man March. I was looking forward to the conversations thereafter about that march and about what was happening with it and what was going to happen after it. Nice for people to come together, but it's good to hear. No, not but. However, it would be grand to hear them speak about it. But I like literacy a bit. I would love for it to be written, even if they write it and then read it when they come on the shows, because when you write, you're able to get it out and see it for yourself. Even when you speak, if it's recorded, you get a chance to listen back, which back to the book again, I always recommend to people that when you go into any type of meeting setting, and especially with the therapist and your doctor, that you record the conversation. Let them know you want to record your session if you're seeking therapy, if you're in therapy, psychiatrist, psychologist, but your medical doctor, because so much information is shared. So you want to record it so you can listen back on it when you're not in it. When you're in the middle of something, you can't always see the full picture. But
Miss, a couple of months ago, I was flicking through my cable station, and these women was on it. It turned out these women that were speaking, they had that Million Women March thing. When all the women went to, they had a rally thing too. Now, they was having women on there talking about what they experienced and it was very fascinating that these women, that they how they became friends and met people, and like you never know when you get in a crowd like that what you can learn. And listening to these women, and some of them seemed like they was in their early 20s, early 30s, and they was like sound like well-educated women. Something like you don't hardly see a lot of.
I'm sorry, excuse me, repeat that last sentence.
I said some of these women that I saw on this thing from the, I think it was the Million Women March thing that they did years ago, whatever. It was some of the women that was on the HBO. They was talking about how their experience was. Someone was in their early 20s, early 30s, but they were so well educated. It's like I'm like, okay, I'm thinking I must be in a different kind of the world, because in my neighborhood you don't see that kind of, you don't see women speak like that or talk like that. You know, they around here being hoochie up.
I thought that's
what
hold it. Okay, I thought that's what I heard you say, that you don't normally see that, so you narrowed it down to your area. So I'll leave that part like that.
My area.
Yes, we do have
some of my meetings I do go to. Now, when I do go to my meetings out of town, I meet a lot of women like that.
Okay.
Well educated and well spoken.
I accept.
But it's just like in my neighborhood, my area, you see a totally
Miles.
Yes.
Thank you.
I'm talking too much again, right?
Well, I like to expound on the positive and keep that encouragement in place, and so you look forward to seeing more of that type of female interaction, and I accept
I do.
that. Thank you very much. Thank you. So, thank you, Miles. Does anyone have anything to add to today's conversation, or some feedback on my talk today with you? You can talk behind my back. No, Miles. You can talk behind my back. I appreciate that as well, because my creator will send me all of those messages. Joke. But any comments on today's talk? Okay. All right. So again, you can go to the Organization of Unity and Empowerment today and every day and support that organization. There's several different things on there for purchase, which a portion of the purchase will go to that organization as they are building, again, based in the Newark, New Jersey area. We hope that it will do well to provide direct and indirect resources to individuals, families, veterans, those with disabilities, and those economically disadvantaged. It's a growing organization, and it grew out of some of the hosts here on the Grown Folk Talk and Express Yourself podcast network. I'll share with you that I am participating and co-hosting a financial podcast on the Keeping It Real platform, Keeping It Real with Jay Sean. That's on Tuesdays at 8 p.m. It started last week, and it's going to run through September 26th, and it's titled Let's Review, and it's the ABCs of finances, investment, and building wealth with insurance, and it's co-hosted with Mr. Solution, who is a successful investor, and I, neither one of us are security agents, but we both come with knowledge, and we're willing to share that knowledge to help ourselves as well as others who are listening reach higher levels with finances. We give investment.
Sister Evadyne?
Yes, sir.
I wondered if you could text that information to me so that I could be aware of it. I sort of heard you mention it on a show once, but if you give the particulars, could you text them to me?
I absolutely will. Thank you very much.
Okay. Thank you. I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Yeah, I was listening to it last week, too.
And what did you think of it, Miles?
Very informative. You had it down pat, I give you kudos. You was on point.
Oh, I thank you. Oh, I thank you. Thank you. Oh, I thank you. And it's all about living, learning, and being willing to share. There are some people who feel like if you didn't do it, then you don't know how to do it, or if you didn't experience anything or everything, you can't talk about it, which is far from true. You don't have to experience. Number one, I am a receiver and a deliverer of information. So I pay attention to the information that I receive, not just in words, but also in action. I am a registered income tax preparer. I am a licensed life and health insurance agent. But I was doing those things even before then. I have helped people for over 30 years with investing, just because I am in tune to my Creator, and so information comes to me and through me. It comes to me and through me, and when I say through me, it comes out of me into the ears, hands of those who need it. That's why, once again, these two books are essential. They will become history in 50 to 100 years of two of the most influential books that help to save and change people's lives. Definitely, they will slow down, if not stop, circumstantial suicide. And as I was mentioning, definition of suicide is self-inflicted death. Self-inflicted death. But I have a friend who committed suicide based on ignorance. Ignorance. Said she never wanted to be hooked up to machines. So when she was sick, she stuck to that, and her children stuck to that. Her ignorance was in the fact that she didn't know that there are some machines that can save your life. Perfect example, Dr. Eden. If he was not put into a drug-induced coma, if he was not hooked up to those machines to keep his body active, flowing, and doing, then he would not be alive today. Sometimes these machines are meant to take the pressure off of you, your body, so your body could heal. So your body could heal. So her ignorance became her weapon of death. Does that make sense? You understand that? Okay. Her ignorance became her weapon of death. There are people who are taking certain prescriptions where the side effect, sadness, depression, and suicidal thoughts.
Remember, the woman that I be talking to on the phone?
1 second, please.
She has a podcast.
So the influence of those prescriptions that may be given to you for good cause,
she has that
influence of those prescriptions can cause you to end your life. But we have people who have the not me syndrome. Have you ever met anybody like that? You have people who are not me, not me. They should wear shirts. Not me. Can't happen to me. That wouldn't happen to no one I know. My friend who indirectly committed suicide by not being hooked up to machines as per her request, when I first released the book, her statement was, nobody I know is going to commit suicide. I was like, okay, how do you know? Like, she never opened the book. She never turned the pages. She would have learned that her decision not to be hooked up to machines may not be a good decision, but she never opened the pages. She never opened the book. She purchased it. So I don't want anyone to, well, I can't say that. I was going to say I don't want anyone to purchase these books if you're not going to open the covers and turn the pages and read some of the words. But I just changed that because you might get a visitor who might decide to steal the book off your bookshelf. I don't know. I'm just saying. The book is meant to be read. Each chapter is a chapter on its own. You can just literally, this gentleman the other day opened the book and just read a page. Not even a chapter, not even the chapter titles. He just opened the book, read a page, and I was quiet. Believe it or not, I do know how to be quiet. I was quiet, observing him. The page that he read, he looked at me and said, I needed that. I needed that. That made me, on a human level, feel good, but it's bigger than us. Just remember that. It's bigger than us. 319 pages. The page he opened to and read was applicable to his life. It's bigger than us. And it's not me. It's not me. It's us.
Hello, and welcome to Grace Space.
It's us. It's bigger than us. It's a world that, if we realize the vastness of this universe, that's growing, by the way, of this universe, we're just a small speck. So it's bigger than us. We almost have to get out of our own way in order to let what is for us come to us. Does that make sense? I hope it makes sense. I really hope it makes sense. You can go to organizationofunityandempowerment.org. You can order the paperbacks wholesale, and that would be directly through me. But the promotion, you get the books immediately. You can send them to a friend. We can't stop anybody from sharing anything. $5, 2 ebooks, book number 1, book number 2, and you're good.
Hello,
you're good.
And welcome to Grace Space.
So I do look forward to hearing from you. Next Monday is a holiday. I don't know what I'll be doing. I'm going to be on Eastern Parkway. I'm telling you that now. I'm going to be on Eastern Parkway because they have what used to be a Labor Day parade, but now it's the Caribbean parade, because it West Indian Day parade. If I'm not mistaken, it didn't start out that way. But I will be podcasting. Maybe I'll be showing you the parade, so maybe you want to come on and come on through the app so you can see what's going on. Or maybe I'll be sitting and chit-chatting with some of the people I meet, because I meet people each and every day. Each and every day I meet somebody new. That is so incredible. Oh, wait, I didn't tell you, right? Okay, so let me tell you. Here's a little piece. So, my name, again, back to these catchphrases, right? It's all in the name. So my name is Evadyne. It is spelled Evadyne. The last E is accented to give you that A sound. My mother originally saw my name as Evadne, Evadyne. Common, I think, Guyanese name. So the way she spells it with the Y, back in the 90s, I was in a shopping mall, and it was a name kiosk, and they said it would tell you what your name meant. So he put my name in, and he came out with love and joy. Well, I received that, right? I was like, I like that. That sounds good. That's just like me. I was good with that. Yes, by the way, I am very full of me. No, I am. But it's okay because it's not in a bad way. It's just a knowing way. So the love and joy was perfect. I was like, I was carrying that. I carried that in the 90s, and people would ask me, and I would tell them. Approximately 4 years ago, when I used the internet and searched my name, 20 years before I was born, my name, the way my mother spells it, was established as a pharmaceutical antidepressant. It's pronounced Evadyne, exactly the way she spells it, with the Y. She never knew that. And I will tell you, in my self-evaluation process, I know that I've been counseling since as early as 12 years old. So when people ask me, when they read the book, they ask me, as I mentioned, if I am a psychologist. I can clearly tell them, as I told them before I knew about Evadyne, by definition, because you do the work before you get the stamp. But my co-author, once again, my co-author, which is the creator, God, universal prime creator, whatever you call him, her, it, right, holds an associate's, a bachelor's, a master's, PhD, and I'm going to say a doctorate and a doctorate of divinity. So my co-author's got me covered with the degrees and with the experiences and with the full knowledge of what I was asked to write. My co-author got me covered, as we talked about that coverage thing, right? And I do my part by not destroying my antennas. My antennas keep me connected. My wiring stays in place. Not just me, many people, but I know me. Mine stay in place. And again, this is before I even knew. When I was born, infant in the crib, they said I was talking up a storm. Talking up a storm. Had something to say, and the adults would be saying, what is that? What is that baby saying? What is that girl talking about? But again, I'll see you all tomorrow if you're available, 8 p.m. on Blog Talk Radio, Keeping It Real with Jay Sean, and it's called Let's Review, the ABCs of Finance, Investing, and Building Wealth with Insurance. You can reach that on 563-999-3718, and that's at 8 p.m. And that's going to run every Tuesday through September 26th. I think the first one is up on my YouTube already. Again, my YouTube, and I'll put it up on Grown Folk YouTube if it's okay. It was very good. Just sharing, imparting information, because where we are is not necessarily where we want to be. And if we could all help one another, the ladder of life, I'm writing that down. I like that, the ladder of life. I have to write it down. I told you, like we all over 60 here. Not most of us. So I'll write it down when it comes to me. We all have to help one another. You don't receive information just for you. Keep that in mind. We don't receive information just for us. We receive information to utilize it. Even if we're not giving it away, we're utilizing it. So in utilizing that information, others are benefiting from it. Does that make sense? Okay, so on this network, once again, we have many shows. We have a couple of new shows coming up. If you are a hostess or host on this show and you would like to announce your show, please feel free to announce your show. And I'm ready. Okay. Okay. I don't think I have anyone muted. Okay. And if you are a frequent listener and you would like to share with us, as Miles did, your reason and your purpose for continuing to come to Grown Folk Talking and you'd like to share that information with us, please do. Okay. Well, we do have regular listeners, and we do appreciate them coming on. Again, if you're watching this on YouTube, please comment in the comment section when you get these books in hand and you read them, whether it's the paperback or the ebook through the promotion, please post on the page on Amazon. Each book has an Amazon page. Please post your comment, your review, your question, and you can reach out to me directly, 347-457-2769, and contact us. You can actually send your questions for the finance show. You can send your questions, text them. You can email them, teamfollowme@yahoo.com. You can, once again, plug into 520-525-8633. That is the Grown Folk Talking number. If your carrier charges you, you can call me to that number, and you will get a call back that is free as long as your data plan allows that. Okay? So this is Evadyne, and I am sharing Evadyne with company. Talk worth listening to. I hope this talk was worth listening to. And I think you all saw, let me re-pull it up, the young lady, I don't want to get her name wrong. They say she is the fastest woman in the world. She won the track and field the other day. Hold on one second. I'm coming.
Tarika Richardson.
What's her name?
Tarika Richardson.
Sharika. Yeah,
she won the 100, the 200, and anchored the 4x1 relay. And she set the world championship record.
Sha'Carri Richardson. That's right.
Yeah.
Sha'Carri Richardson beat the odds, beat the talk. Let people talk. That talking was energy to move her forward. They said she actually lost her mom. So we have those wings working very well again. Oh, let's not say that because somebody might think she has some supernatural stuff going on. No, she did her thing. American,
Where's she from?
I think she's from Texas. I'm not sure. Let's see. Where is she from?
Hey, Evadyne,
Then she's from Texas.
This is Dr. James. I just want to say something real quick.
Yes, please.
How you doing? You
Great.
said most people on the phone is over the age of 60. You don't look a day over 59. No, I'm just joking. But listen.
Oh, thank you.
I was just going to say that your financial show was very, very informative, and I learned a lot from that short period of time talking to you and the other gentleman, Mr. Solution. You gave me a lot of information. I think that a lot of people should, listen to that show because, there's a lot of things going on out there financially that people are not aware of. So that's all I wanted to say.
Well, you said a lot, and I thank you. And I guess I'll have to use some more Ivory soap so I can look like not a day past 58. Thank you.
Oh, well, you can drop the check in the mail.
No, I will do. Thank you very much. The financial show was really empowering, as Miles said as well, and Dr. James. And it's I say I keep with all these phrases. I love the let's review idea because we don't want to assume people don't know even what we know, whoever we are, whatever we're delivering, we don't want to assume or think that people don't know, like we're bringing all the information. So let's review. Let's review what you know. Let's review what I know. And in that review, just like in this talk, we all learn. We all learn. I share with people who are learning public speaking that the key to staying clear and not being fearful, because most people are fearful that they'll make a mistake. If you realize you've said something that was wrong, not intentionally, just go back and review. Just go back to review that information. Kind of like repeat it back again, but this time you completed the way it's supposed to be. It's completed. That's the last thing that they remember hearing. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid.
May I speak, sister?
Absolutely.
The young lady's name is Shakari Richardson, and she's from Dallas, Texas, born and raised.
Thank you very much. Yeah, she did the 100-meter in 10.65 seconds. 10 minutes and 65 seconds, right? 10 minutes
10
and
seconds.
65. Yeah.
10.6 seconds.
She did it. She did it. And if you okay, so imagine this. She did it.
10.75. Well, she also broke the record for the 200 meters there.
She did it, and she was being congratulated. So just imagine this. They tell me I'll tell good stories, so I'm hoping you can hear this and see this. So she did it. She received accolades and hugs, and then it kicked in.
Hey, running that fast, boy.
She realized she did it, and she would just put her arms up, and she hugged herself and just started jumping. Like, it kicked in to her. She did it. That's like shock and awe, right? On her own level. Shock.
I guess all that running through her neighborhood paid out for her, huh?
That's that positive words, always from Miles. Thank you, Miles. So,
yeah, I'm sure. She did a lot of running. She did a lot of running. She had to do a lot of running to prepare herself for that.
She did. I agree.
Yeah.
On her neighborhood track field. You're right. Thank you. Okay, so I'd like to thank you all. I'll welcome you back at 7 p.m. for the King's Roundtable. I will not be here because I will not be changing genders today. I'm going to stick to female. But it is men only. Bring your friends. And so remember, if you're listening to this recorded, the last Monday of the month here on Grown Folk Talking is the King's Roundtable. Every Monday otherwise, it is slot time with Star at 7 p.m. 7 a.m. every morning, we have the prayer line and a host of shows thereafter, a host of shows. Karen and Jada is at 5 p.m., I think, tomorrow. 6 p.m.? 6 p.m. tomorrow. Karen, Jada, and Deborah. And then the Pink Sofa Talk is at 7:30 p.m. But call in and listen to the show lineup. Sunday through Saturday, Monday through Sunday, Tuesday through Monday, Wednesday to Tuesday, Thursday to Friday. Just every day. Something for everyone. Bring a friend, bring 10 friends. Really doesn't cost you anything but a little bit of time. Go and visit the Grown Folk Talking YouTube channel to catch all of the shows that have been posted up there thus far, and more are coming. I thank you all very much. This is Evadyne with Company, and you have been great company. Have a great every day.